I'm going to show you guys how I do an electrical inspection in a panel. Now, let's start with, no, don't do that. I checked it before, I'm just showing you guys. So here's what I have is a non-contact voltage tester. So basically it tells you if there's power on something just by touching it without putting yourself in any danger. See, works just like that. So what you do is before you ever touch the cover of the electrical panel, check it. It's conductive. If there's a wire touching that, it could be energized, which means it's going to be a really short inspection for you. Okay, so this one's all good. So now we can proceed, which means I'm going to open it. So I'm going to check all this. I'm going to check all the labels. I'm going to check all these labels. So these circuits all appear to be labeled except for this one at the very bottom. Okay, now here we have a 200 amp panel, which says right here on the main breaker. And yeah, let's open it up. Now, I do this with a live panel. Got this little guy here. So it's like a magnetic wristband. So basically all this does for me, gives me somewhere to put the screws so I don't lose them when I take them out. Okay. Okay, so now, looking at this, during an inspection, I don't touch any of that. Okay, it's purely visual. I'm just looking at things, making sure everything's in order. Now, obviously, we can tell there's a lot of aluminum still in here. Okay, but sometimes you get these installed in a home and you don't see any of this out here. The panel's completely enclosed, which means the only option you have of seeing if there is aluminum wiring in here, mainly in this house, is by opening up the panel and having a look. It is pretty neat. There's a few splices in the panel, which are allowed. Okay, a lot of people are usually questioning that. They wonder if it's allowed or not. Now, main lines are open, right? This whole panel's open. Nice and close here, I'm going to show you everything. So what you're looking for is double lugs. So you're going to go all the way up and down these. That's the hot bus. See that line down here? Don't touch that. Don't put your hands near that. Don't put your tools near that. Okay? You want to have a respectable distance from this stuff. Alright? So now, I am looking for these terminals here. Trying to get a look in. I don't see any anti-corrosion paste. So I do have a bit of an issue with that. We got some paste on this one. So that's the neutral bar. Now we have our wiring. See, these are the two main feeds coming in. It is grounded. Now, there's no, it's not a sub panel. All right, see how that's attached to the back? That's attached up here. That completes the grounding circuit. This whole thing's grounded. Now again, like I said, splices like this one, in a panel, they're allowed. Down here you have your ground bar. Now what I do see here, you see every one of these lugs, they're only supposed to have one conductor. All right. Now here is something you will see sometimes, which is a 240 volt circuit. Like that's your stove, your dryer, anything, your air conditioner. That would be the neutral, also carries a load, right? So they are both connected to the breaker here. This is a 20 amp. Let's see which one that was. Because it was so nicely labeled, I just have to look which one that was. And that's the hot water tank. So that's all good here. Same thing with these red wires, okay? Double lugged would be two hot wires going under the same screw. Some panels are approved for it. Some breakers are approved for it. But if it is, it will tell you on this label. All right. Overall, this panel looks decent. I mean, there's a bit of a salad here with the neutral wires, but considering you got to bring them all in here, it gets a bit tight. No double lugs. It is fairly neat. It's not overcrowded. There's no open covers in here. There's no open tabs. Like I said, it's missing one label. I'm guessing that's a circuit that was added later. It's the one here on the bottom. And yeah, the aluminum wiring. Again, aluminum's not an issue. The only thing to remember with aluminum is that whatever gauge you think you need for a circuit, for example, for a regular 15 amp circuit, 110 volt, on a copper conductor, you would use a 14 gauge wire. Whereas for that same circuit, if you're going to use aluminum, you need a 12 gauge wire. And other than that, it looks pretty good. There's nothing abandoned hanging in here. There's no, I've seen it sometimes where there's wires that are just in here, but they're not connected to anything, which can be a hazard. I'm going to use my thermal camera and get a look at this real quick. And of course, all the tools I used today, I'm going to put links in the description for all of them. You can copy and paste them. Anyway, so let's do the thermal imaging. So here I have another phone that I use for roof inspections and stuff like that. It's an old phone. I've completely wiped it. It's strictly mainly used as a camera and for my business. But here, that's the thermal camera I use. It's topped on, TC001. Just plugs into the bottom. The image resolution is amazing. And the pictures go straight to my phone instead of having to mess with it. So that's a lot of cold air leaking in, the way that's built. But that's got nothing to do with the panel itself. That's an insulation issue on the house. Let's focus on the electrical. That water heater breaker, right? That's pretty warm. Now, is that an issue? It's actually not, because it's under constant use, right? And it's not like it's running really hot, right? The thermal camera will also give you an actual temperature reading. And here what I'm getting off that one is 20.3. And the reason it's showing up so bright on the camera is also because relative to its surroundings, it's really warm. So it shows up more yellow and more bright because relative to its surroundings, it's really hot. But it's actually not burning hot. You want to look for the actual temperature reading. It's pretty clean. I don't really like to see all the tape around that ground wire, to be honest. But other than that, like I said, the main lugs could have used some paste. But overall, this one's got a pretty clean bill of health. All back to the way it was. Make sure these are closed. And make sure the floor in front of them is clear as a homeowner.